stunt team are the unsung heroes of action films, often putting their body in harm's way for the betterment of the final product. Most of the time, you don't even know they're there. Clever camera tricks, editing, and some on-point hair and makeup hide the fact that your favorite actors may not be doing their own stunts, but sometimes it's painfully obvious. Give us a like if you've ever noticed any of these standout stunt doubles before. Here are ScreenRant's 10 actor and superhero stunt doubles that make you cringe. T2 Judgement Day. Arnie returned in 1991 to play the titular Terminator, a cyborg sent from the future to this time to protect the boy, John Connor. Hot on their trail is the even deadlier T-1000, who forces our heroes into a hot pursuit of motorcycle versus truck. Yet the stunt double is exposed while riding that sweet, sweet ride, and the audience clearly sees that Arnold had to sit this one out. Older films didn't have the luxury modern films have with the clever use of CGI, so films would have to sacrifice a moment with a different face in order to get the shot done for real. It's a shame they couldn't find a good lookalike though. Twilight. Just because your scene doesn't have action in the conventional sense doesn't mean that stunt doubles aren't needed. Case in point, the first Twilight film. You may remember the scene where Robert Pattinson's Edward is running through the wood with Kristen Stewart's Bella on his back. Due to his vampire powers, Edward is able to run faster than any human could. Yet, despite his speed, eagle-eyed audiences, or those handy with the pause button, will notice that both Pattinson and Stewart were not the ones on screen doing that scene during the wide shots as the pair whizzed through the woods. Camera angles, guys. The Fast and the Furious. Before the mega franchise was driving cars out of skyscrapers into other skyscrapers, or Superman jumping over an overpass, The Fast and the Furious was a grounded car film that did a lot of its action in camera, and it looked great. Except when we noticed Paul Walker's stunt double during the botched truck heist near the climax. That is clearly not Paul Walker. Triple X. Before we returned in the third installment, Vin Diesel starred as Xander Cage, the extreme sports and James Bond love child from the early 2000s. Since the protagonist of the film was an avid enthusiast of sports, most people wouldn't even try. You can be sure some stunt work was done for that. In the case where Xander drives a stolen Corvette off a bridge with his own cameras pre-installed to capture the footage, audiences could clearly see Vin Diesel was not the one doing the stunt, despite it being done for real. Instead, Vin's stuntman Tim Rigby wore a rather shoddy-looking Vin mask. The Princess Bride. Inconceivable! The Princess Bride may be the least action-based film on this list, but it stands as a fan favorite and a cult classic. And surprisingly enough, has one of the most hilarious moments of stunt double misfortunes on film. When Robin Wright's Buttercup and Cary Elwes' Wesley rolled down the hill, stuntman Bob Anderson was tasked with doing the stunt for both leads. And while Wesley was at least masked for most of the hilarious stumble, Buttercup was left looking rather manly as he rolled down the hill. The Mummy Returns. I too get someone else to do my shift and hope no one will notice. I jest. But those handy with the pause button will see an irregularity when watching The Mummy Returns. The sequel to the successful 1999 film saw Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz reprise their roles as the O'Connors, this time hunting for an ancient bracelet in the film's opening. When an ancient curse obviously makes life complicated, as they do in these films, our two leads end up getting hit face first with a flood of water. Only the actors being hit by the water are not Fraser or Weisz, instead being replaced by their doubles, which don't look a thing like their counterparts. Thankfully, the shot is so brief that it's never that noticeable in the final product. Tomb Raider, Cradle of Life. Dude, where's my bike? The Tomb Raider film saw Angelina Jolie take on the role of Lara Croft in the video game adaptation of the hit franchise, which was essentially a really wacky version of Indiana Jones. Despite negative reviews, the film was given a sequel, and it's in the sequel that one might notice during the Great Wall motocross scene that Jolie is in fact replaced in the wide shots by this guy. It happens more often than one might realize when men double for women in action scenes, strapping down their bits and attaching a fake chest to perfect the scene. Way to go, guys. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Blonde hair? Check. Black outfit? Check. Any resemblance to Sarah Michelle Gellar? Skip. Gellar was perfect casting as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the teenage hunter who had to balance fighting the supernatural and all the woes of high school. The show had its fair share of action during its 10-season run, but they were a bit loose with their casting of Gellar's stunt double, who didn't look anything like her, instead appearing to keen-eyed fans as a much older and broader-looking woman than our young heroine. 007 Moonraker. The name's Moore. Roger Moore. Or is it? Moonraker is the 11th film in the James Bond franchise, and saw Roger Moore's suave British secret agent investigate a stolen space station. The plot is as ridiculous as it sounds, but so is the poor attempts at hiding Moore's stunt double, the late Martin Grace. Grace would do plenty of the heavy lifting for Moore, including doing the shots of Bond climbing up a set of stairs. But the obvious shot comes when Bond and evil henchman Jaws both jump out of a plane, revealing that both characters have suddenly been replaced by their doubles, with the camera glaringly pointing out the obvious to us. A wide shot would have helped mask this, and we would have been none the wiser in this otherwise spectacular scene. Captain America. Captain America has certainly grown on audiences over the past few years. While failing to make a lasting impression on his first two outings, Winter Soldier brought Cap as a character and as an action icon up to the next level. However, the first Avenger may be a crack shot at shield throwing and super kicking, but that doesn't change the fact that Chris Evans' stunt double looks absolutely nothing like him. Thankfully, the quick cuts and a lot of the action and some clever CGI helped mask the obvious not Chris Evans. Those are our picks for 10 superhero and actor stunt doubles that would make you cringe. Do you agree with our list? What other movies have you seen where you noticed a really awkward looking stunt double? Whether it's for a few seconds or painfully in your face, let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.